Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Criterion, where we regularly preview forthcoming releases in the Criterion collection. And in this edition, we'll be looking at a limited series from Amazon Prime, directed by Barry Jenkins, The Underground Railroad. Many will know Barry Jenkins, the director, as the winner of the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2017, Moonlight, and the Oscar-nominated Beale Street Could Talk from 2018, as well as Medicine for Melancholy from 2008, which recently joined the collection. The Underground Railroad is an American historical drama limited TV series, created and directed by Barry Jenkins and based on the 2016 novel of the same name written by Colson Whitehead. The series premiered on Amazon Prime on May 14, 2021, and it consists of 10 separate episodes telling the fictional story of people attempting an escape from slavery in the southern United States in the 1800s, utilising a key plot element that employs the literary style of magic realism. In reality, the Underground Railroad was a network of abolitionists, hidden routes and safe houses that helped enslaved African Americans escape to freedom in the early to mid-1800s. In the novel and the series is an actual railroad, complete with engineers, conductors, tracks and tunnels. On September the 16th, 2016, it was announced that Barry Jenkins was set to adapt Colson Whitehead's novel The Underground Railroad into a limited TV series, and Jenkins was expected to produce the series alongside Adele Romansky. On June the 5th of 2018, it was announced that Amazon had given the production a formal green light and that all episodes would be directed by Jenkins himself. The savagery that man is capable of when he believes his cause to be just, says a station agent in episode 3 of The Underground Railroad. Despite only hearing these words once, they ripple across Barry Jenkins' striking adaptation of Colson Whitehead's Pulitzer-winning novel. They seem to caption the series as many tragic, savage and real images that sear on the mind, and like most slavery dramas, it exposes the depth of evil that white men have enforced upon the world. The story reimagines the Underground Railroad, a term used by 19th century abolitionists for helping runaway slaves, as a literal railway system. Trains scuttle and steam through a network of subterranean tunnels, run by friendly conductors who write down the stories of the passengers. Cora, played by Tuzo Bedu, runs away with the well-read Caesar, played by Aaron Pierre, travelling via this secret, fantastical railroad across the pre-war American South. But she's also being pursued by the ruthless bounty hunter Ridgway, played by Joel Edgerton, who's clad in black and ready with a gun. Through Cora's dark journey, she experiences racism in varying degrees, from her being a museum exhibit to witnessing mundane murders of black people. And in most cases, their race is treated like an animal species, to be gazed at or slaughtered for applause. They're rarely if ever meant to reach beyond the destiny designed by the white powers that be. These nauseating realities can be a lot to process over 10 episodes, averaging about an hour each, but Jenkins and his writing team avoid indulging in the violence itself. They instead focus more on the humans made to endure it. You even see these anguished characters enjoying themselves, having fun, falling in love, rare and beautiful sights in such an evil context. 10 episodes isn't too long, but Jenkins' deliberately slow storytelling moves with a poetic, transcendental patience. The camera lingers as if wanting so badly to understand, treating the subjects, even the villains themselves, with overwhelming care. To that effect, Jenkins and regular cinematographer James Laxton craft such beautiful close-ups, a signature continued from their work on Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk. They sharpen the details of the faces, the lines, the expressions, the feelings inside like painted profiles. It's no wonder they call the shots portraits. Jenkins and Laxton elaborate the visuals further during quieter moments in which black characters stare right down the camera lens at you. Their expressions are ambiguous, usually frowning, with hints of sadness in their eyes, frozen as spectres from a traumatizing past. They're both haunting and humanizing. Now, the performances wield the same qualities. Tuzo Medeu carries Cora's near-hopeless burdens along with the small and hopeful light ignited by the railroad. She's drowned in the horrors of her situation, but that doesn't dent her willingness to smile and to laugh when things are going well. It's a delicate, respectful balance that this actress achieves perfectly. Joel Edgerton is also an absorbing addition through his character, the racist bounty hunter with a sickening sense of entitlement, given more depth and nuance than perhaps is deserved. But he serves to exemplify and to dramatise the kind of prejudice itself, one that still seeps into present-day society. Episode 9 contends with the greatest episodes of TV ever made. There's too much build-up before that point, but the harrowing truths in those 75 minutes sit and simmer for hours afterwards, especially with its perfect needle-drop ending. The Underground Railroad is a harrowing picture of America, the good and the evil, the blood in its soil, with a tragic awareness of the present day, showing the history and those trapped inside it. Jenkins's camera shows when to linger as well, building moments of deep and meaningful emotion. And the format of the series is ambitious, certainly. Most instalments last for around an hour. But then Jenkins doesn't hesitate to insert a 20-minute episode, a startling break in the show's framework that convincingly shakes it up. Now, the production quality for the series is top-notch throughout, and it very much echoes the award-winning film 12 Years a Slave, a film with similarities directed by Steve McQueen. Cinematographer James Laxton was hired for the project. He's worked before with Jenkins on his film Moonlight from 2016 and If Beale Street Could Talk. And this project allowed him great range with his use of subtle hues and flexibility with shooting over a much longer period, beginning August 2019 in Savannah in Georgia, and production ending 116 days later on September 22nd, 2020. The Underground Railroad reunites Jenkins with Nicholas Britell. He's the Academy Award-nominated composer behind Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk scores. Britell's music, full of portentous strings and mournful pianos, lends Jenkins a sprawling script and emotional ballast. It's profoundly moving. Casting in the Underground Railroad was also very strong, with a central cast featuring Tuzo Medeu as Cora Randall, Chase W. Dillon as Homer, that's Ridgway's assistant, Joel Edgerton as Arnold Ridgway, a slave catcher, Fred Hetchinger as young Arnold Ridgway, Peter Mullen, a very popular British actor, as Ridgway Sr., father of Arnold Ridgway, Michael Bella Bowman as Fanny Briggs, and Sheila Atim as Mabel. And also, I'd just like to talk about the executive producers. They were, of course, Barry Jenkins himself, Adele Romansky, also Brad Pitt, Dee Gardner, and Jeremy Kleiner. At its best, the Underground Railroad is sobering, unsettling, and hypnotic, with one abolitionist in a state that practices genocide marvelling at the savagery that man is capable of when he believes his cause to be just. Now, the fact that filming took place in Georgia, which has been in the headlines, of course, for its controversial voting legislation, merely adds to the importance of connecting history to the present day, a point Jenkins addresses himself in an extraordinary director's note. The need to tell the truth without being devoured by the barbarity of that truth, he wrote, is the hardest undertaking I have ever attempted in my creative life. The care and sense of responsibility associated with that is evident in every frame of this series, and Jenkins has created a journey well worth taking. It's also one whose impact is blunted, finally, by the length of the stops along the way. The Underground Railroad is a historical work, but there is something chillingly contemporary about white supremacy that's depicted on screen, and as such, the series succeeds in anchoring its narrative to the full context of racism throughout the centuries, and it compels us to reflect both on what happened and where those events have actually led us, and how they continue to shape us and the world we live in. Now, there were intended to be 11 episodes when the production was first announced, but only 10 were actually filmed by Jenkins. The episodes are Chapter 1, Georgia, Chapter 2, South Carolina, Chapter 3, North Carolina, Chapter 4, The Great Spirit, Chapter 5, Tennessee Exodus, Chapter 6, Tennessee Proverbs, Chapter 7, Fanny Briggs, Chapter 8, Indiana Autumn, Chapter 9, Indiana Winter, and Chapter 10, Mabel. As well as featuring all the episodes, Criterion bring the 4-disc Blu-ray set to the collection with the following special features. A 4K digital master, approved by co-writer, director Barry Jenkins, with Dolby Atmos soundtrack, an alternate stereo soundtrack, new audio commentary featuring Jenkins and on select chapters, cinematographer James Laxton, and lead editor Joy McMillan, with an introduction by the director. New graphic novel adaptation of Genesis, an unfilmed chapter of The Underground Railroad, written by Jenkins and Nathan C. Parker, drawn by Valentine DeLandro, with an introduction by Jenkins. The Gaze, a companion film by Jenkins, with a new introduction by the director himself. Deleted scenes from the series, with a statement by Jenkins. 7 teasers made by Jenkins, with a new introduction by him. Building the Underground Railroad, a short programme featuring Jenkins and the production designer Mark Friedberg. And that's discussing the creation of the train station sets. And as always with Criterion, a written essay by critic Angelica Jade Bastien. And the cover art for the Underground Railroad is by Tony Stella. I'm particularly pleased that the sound supports the superb high production imagery with a sterling Dolby Atmos soundtrack, one provided alongside the stereo one. For those with a compatible system at home, it certainly will enhance the presentations considerably. And with images of searing power and stirring poetry, Jenkins delivers an epic saga of survival and resilience that pushes the limited series format to new heights of cinematic transcendence. Now, the 10 episodes combine to an overall running time of 585 minutes, mixed in 178:1 and 239:1 aspect ratios. Barry Jenkins' The Underground Railroad comes to the collection as a 4-disc Blu-ray set on Tuesday the 25th of June with spine number 1223. Barry Jenkins' latest project is still to be released, and that's Mufasa the Lion King. The film's a photorealistic animation and both a prequel and sequel to the 2019 adaptation of the 1994 Disney film The Lion King, and it's due to be released in cinemas on the 20th of December this year. Next time on Let's Talk Criterion, we'll be taking a look at the latest Janus contemporary release, and that's Orlando, My Political Biography, a 2023 documentary film directed by Paul B. Preciado. And I'm very sad to bring the news that one of the great Hollywood actors has passed, and that is, of course, Donald Sutherland. We are very sorry to lose him. He has featured, of course, in the Criterion collection, and I'm sure you will all agree with me, he has a massive and a very impressive body of work, his legacy to the film community.